Hey guys, hope you're doing well today. This is Stacy Kimbrell, and I'm back with our series of cleaning out my garage. I literally have, I think I counted 8 or 9 bins full of all my old teaching chemical products. So I'm trying to separate them by categories or sections and just do hopefully quick little videos. Last or a couple days ago it was like 26 minutes, so sorry. That went over personal care products and what's wrong and what's in them that you may want to avoid and find better choices. And then today I'm going to be going over the counter and prescription medicines. And this is just a few of the things I'm going to go over. And of course, you have to make your own decision according to what you choose to do with your physician if you want to. I'm just letting you know why I don't use these products and why I stopped 14 years ago. Our family did, for that matter. And there was a lot more than this. All of us had prescription medicines that we were on in our family of 4. And then, of course, a slew of over-the-counter medications. Of course, when there's things sold in the stores for over-the-counter, we just assume that they're straight and that everything's okay and there's nothing harmful in them and all that kind of stuff. But that's not necessarily the case. And how the FDA has things set up for their guidelines for seeing if a chemical is safe or not, they actually don't test it. The manufacturer has to do their own independent surveys and tests, and if they deem it's okay, then the FDA says, hey, go ahead and use that. And not till there's an overwhelming response that someone actually recognizes that came from a certain product or a chemical, then the FDA will investigate, do their own studies, and then say, yeah, you can't sell that or put that chemical in a product or ban it. So you know how often that happens. And so this is our personal family's story of why we don't use these products. And we have not used any of these products in over 14 years. So that means if I can do it, I know you all can do it. And it will help you have a healthier immune system and make you better, I guess. I don't know, cuter or something, I don't know. So let's just start with something easy. When it comes to cough drops, these are all different things. These are just regular cough drops, okay? And so I have to use my glasses, sorry. So one of the things that this had in here is the dyes, which of course you don't want. It has glucose syrup, whatever. The main thing that I don't like in here is sucralose, which is an artificial sweetener, which is a neurotoxin, and that's something that you just don't want. And there's a bee running around here, or a wasp. So I guess if I get stung, you'll see what we're gonna do. That would be a bummer. Anyhow, get out. Okay, I'm actually allergic to them. I'm supposed to die in 10 minutes. And I used to always use an EpiPen and have that kind of thing on hand, but I haven't in 14 years. So we'll see. Okay. But anyhow, titanium dioxide is another one. So titanium dioxide is a ground up metal that they put in things to make it where color shows really well, and it's a filler. So whether it's in makeup or in a vitamin, you're going to see it in a lot of these products. It makes it where something is crystal white, like really pretty white, that is pleasing to the eye, because you remember marketing has to be something that's pleasing to people, and that's why they research colors and smells and taste and all that kind of stuff. Or if it was like, I'm obviously white skinned here, right? So if I had baby blue eyeshadow on this color, you'd be able to see it on me. Or if it was someone with darker skin and they had titanium dioxide in it, you'd still be able to see as baby blue, even though their skin color may absorb some of the color and make it darker. It won't, because the base is there that's crystal white. And so that's in here, and that's totally unnecessary, because now you're sucking on metals. And we don't need any more metal poisonings or anything like that in our body. So this is something that's just not a good choice. And in life, there's always going to be better choices. Most people all know that I support a company called Young Living. They have awesome, this is the hard lozengers, but we have cough drops as well that are over-the-counter approved by the FDA, and they're awesome as well. This is sort of like the Thieves Blend. It's a little bit more clovey and cinnamon, where the cough drops that are approved over-the-counter, those are a little bit more menthol, and both of them are fantastic. They're just great, especially if you're used to, and you're a person who's wearing your mask all the time for work or school or whatever the case is. Using that is amazing, or even be able to use the oils on your mask, so you're just not breathing in your own funk all day and all the carbon monoxide and everything else. So that's exciting. The main thing that all this is about is a lot of this was Steve's stuff. And Steve was, he used to miss work 6 to 8 weeks out of the year for life since I've known this man. I met him when he was 26 and he was on medications then. And for a couple different issues, and one of them being allergies. He had the craziest allergies ever. I used to work in the medical field back in the day for 14 years. I used to try to help him with what I knew medically. It didn't matter for this guy, like nothing worked out. And we found out that all the stuff that was being prescribed to him by the dermatologist for topical skin things or orally because of the other internal issues, he was allergic to because of the chemicals that were in it. As soon as we stopped that, it was almost like night and day, but of course had no clue that had anything to do with it in the beginning. And so I used to research stuff, and I just had pages and pages printed out on certain products and chemicals and all the chemicals in that product and what they do. And a lot of the sinus and allergy ones, you'll be so surprised to realize, is that they break down the mucous membranes. So whether it's in the throat or the nasal cavity, they're actually really damaging you more than helping you. And a lot of them say that you shouldn't be even using it for a long period of time. They say for like a short-term use, not chronic use. And like, I think it was the chloroseptic lozenges, I think that was the right one. I got it in here somewhere. You're only allowed to have like 3 a day. Well, I mean, who reads packages? I never do. So, I mean, he'd take like 6 a day, then he would do these sprays, and then he would do this, and then that. I mean, he was getting jacked up. It was just incredible. And I remember when we stopped our medications and over-the-counter medications cold turkey, and if I couldn't find something natural to rub on or do, then we just didn't use it. And it was, of course, difficult in the beginning because back then I didn't even know as much as I know now. And plus, there wasn't that many things available as there is now. Now we have a slew of things that are available. But it was a better choice. So real quick with the chloroseptic, you know, in here, once again, has red dye, has artificial sweetener, as the inactive ingredients. What else was I going to tell you about this? Let's see. Oh, this really makes me upset. Gosh, we used to use these all the time. They come in a lot of different things. But these little strips that dissolve on your tongue, this goes in here. So this has, remember, propylene glycol in our last video if you saw it, which is the main ingredient in low toxic antifreeze, and it's a petroleum-based product. It's used as a stabilizer, as a filler. It's unnecessary. It's still petroleum, and we don't want petroleum in our body. Like, you have to really understand that whatever you intake absorbs into your body, right? Your whole goal of eating and drinking is to help reproduce healthy cells. So is it helping reproduce a healthy cell? Is it something that's going to give you nutrients and vitamins and minerals and proteins and good fats that you need, or is it not? And so most of everything on this table has that in it, number one. And of course, topical, whatever you put on your skin absorbs into your bloodstream from 3 seconds to 20 minutes, even like a pain patch or birth control patch or smoker's patch, and the same kind of concept. So remember, good or bad. And petroleum-based products like Vaseline, petroleum, mineral oil, paraffin, all that kind of stuff, it's supposed to make your skin soft and moist and help. It says a moisture barrier. That is a flat-out lie. It's not a moisture barrier. It's a poison that acts like you got saran wrap over your skin, and it's not allowing your skin to breathe, which your skin is your largest organ, to help release chemicals and toxins out of your body. That's what sweat does, unless you're running a marathon, right? Or on your armpits or other areas, is your body's trying to release the chemicals. So you do it through breathing, you do it through obviously urine, pooping, and then through your skin. That's the elimination factors, and that's what it's trying to do. But when we put petroleum on, or these products, it acts like saran wrap on your skin. So back to this. This is just really outrageous. I used to have all of this memorized, but I haven't done it in a little while, so I have to look at the label, so sorry about that. But propylene glycol is in here, artificial sweetener, titanium dioxide, so it can hold this pretty little red color. And then it has acetone, which is the first inactive ingredient. Please just go research acetone. Say, what products have acetone in it besides nail polish remover? and you're just going to be tripped out. Why in the daylights would the FDA approve acetone to absorb on your tongue and in your mouth when the fastest absorption rates is in your mouth, like when somebody has to take a nitro pill underneath the tongue because it goes right into your bloodstream? Why is acetone on there? I mean, it's so damaging. It's just outrageous. Of course, the red dyes, polyethylene glycol, which is in this is when you have like a colonoscopy, which is another petroleum-based product. And of course, there's other crap in here too. But that's the main things that's, to me, is like, why is this even necessary? They have full capability of making things healthy enough for people to use and to help them, but our government allows them not to, and they take advantage of that because the chemical is cheaper, or they want you to become dependent on a product. And that's what these chemicals and flavors do. Outrageous that acetone is in this. There's like Listerine strips. You know, I used to love Vicks. I used to take Vicks NyQuil all the time. I love the black licorice flavor in there. But anyhow, it has not only the dyes, but polyethylene glycol, propylene glycol, titanium dioxide, artificial sweeteners. And that's just a serious problem because those are just not things that's going to help you sleep well, build up your immune system, rest, get ready for the next day. It may put you to sleep, but it's not doing much else for you than that. Vicks Vapor Rub was like, goodness, like one of my favorite things. I just love the smell. And through Young Living, we do have a Thieves Chest Rub that smells exactly the same, but no petroleum and the good products. There's nothing bad in here. We use this on our dog. We use this on us. You can use it on a baby. There's nothing wrong in there. So here we go with the little nasty little sort of sinusy things. Well, I'll go over here to sinus too. That's sort of has to do with it. This was all Steve stuff. Afrin spray. This is crazy. Oxidil zolamine, whatever. I don't remember how to say it. But this causes damage to not only the skin, but to the kidneys. Should not be used long term, used for 3 days, no longer than 6 weeks. But people don't realize this and they have problems, so they keep using it. This, you know, if you need a nasal spray, you can use good salt water, or you could use saline solution would be fine. Okay, that's great. This is saline nasal spray, and it has a lot of other junk in it, unfortunately. So this is not okay, to my opinion. It says damage, the phenylcarbinol, damage to human and animal tissue. That's right on the ingredients that you can go research the stuff for yourself. When you go to the MSDS, which is the Material Safety Data Sheets, or go research, is this chemical bad for me, or is this chemical cause cancer, or whatever, you're going to find some of these things perhaps. And then you can see for yourself that maybe it's not the best choice, and what could you do in lieu of that. This is a nasal inhaler we use. You have a little cotton wick in here, and we breathe it in. I put like a peppermint, lemongrass, whatever. It works amazing for sinus issues. Once again, if you just want to go straight, no other products, just use a good salt like Redmond's sea salt or Celtic sea salt, not Himalayan, not white sea salt, because all those are not good. That's for another day, that class over there. And you make a little mixture, let the salt dissolve, and snort it up. That will do the same thing that these products do to help you get stuff out, and it'll be a 100% better choice. I have all these sheets right here of just what are all these products, and like Chloraseptic throat spray, right? So this is the throat. This is the lozenge, right? So this one says can cause life-threatening effects of heartbeats, convulsions, coma, slow breathing, respiratory failure. And this is the main thing is, I'm sorry, I haven't practiced this. Cetipyridium chloride, CPC is the abbreviation for it. Let's see, has been affected, is an ingredient in certain pesticides. It's a pesticide. It's an ingredient in pesticides, and has shown to cause brown stains between teeth. I mean, no one usually wants that kind of stuff, right? Besides the different things that it can cause, which you're sucking on this to help with a sore throat, but it can cause headaches, weakness, breathing problems, fast heart rate, grayish or bloodish colored skin, oozing, blisters, infections, swelling, severe burning, stinging, sensitive. Let's see. I mean, there's just a lot. If you're using it, if you put this on topical, it can cause dry white flakes. I just saw that one. So, and then when you look at all the side effect or the medications that you should not take with something else, that's like a serious issue as well. And then when you start having these symptoms, you're like, oh, I got a headache, I got to take Midol, I got to take Motrin, I got to take Tylenol. Or if I have sinus pressure, now I got to take Sudafed and all these things. And it becomes a chain reaction in your body, and it's just getting inundated with all of these chemicals. Nasonex was something that Steve took. This had a lot of problems for him. The main thing is that actually breaks down the mucus layer in the body, and so that's a problem, because whether you're spraying it or using it orally, that's the mucus cavity, and so you're trying to rebuild that, and it's not. This is something once that Steve had to take, and it says it can cause contact dermatitis, and all these could cause glaucoma, upper respiratory infection up to 15% in people who use this, and that's an eye drop. Okay, that's like a problem. So if you're having a breathing problem, you're not going to know, and it could cause this trigger reaction. This is why you want to become aware. What could you do possibly without just taking a whole bunch of stuff that people don't? This is the one that Steve is most upset about. It's called Rhinocort, and it blocks action of certain cells and chemicals of the immune system. But this is another one. If you've not had chickenpox or shingles or measles, avoid anyone who has while you're taking this medication. Like, how are you going to even know? Causes coughing, headaches, hoarseness, dryness in the nasal cavity, sore throat, tightness in the lungs. He used this for a while, and he had so many problems. It causes vision problem. He started not being able to see. He's an artist, so he's always been able to like draw. Like when he would draw, I'd be just like, that's too close to the paper. He could like just look like this. He used this for, it was like a month, and he started not being able to see the paper. It was crazy. So he got off this one pretty quick. And then we went to this one because, hey, this is maybe a better choice. And once again, this is way before learning about natural medicine and young living and eating and changing our lifestyle. This one says, do not operate any machinery. This spray is harmful if it's swallowed. This is Astelin, whatever that is. And harmful if swallowed. Okay, so I want you to think about this. When you spray something in your nasal cavity, you're going to swallow it, right? Because you have a passage that goes through there that's post-nasal drip or whatever, right? There's a connection there if you didn't know that already. So once again, whatever we're taking in, is it building up your immune system or is it lowering it? And so these are the things that commonly we just want to help people. I can't give you all the things I would tell you to do here because I'm not allowed to per the FTC and the FDA. If you want to contact me personally, let me know. But otherwise, there's things you can do to research this to make a better choice. Okay, I probably got to move forward because we're probably running a little late, huh? Should I just do that? Is that only 15 minutes? Okay. This was something I used back in the day. Propylene glycol, methylparaben, polyparaben. That is the synthetic estrogen, the parabens. What was this one, kid? Oh my gosh. I forgot what else this does. This isn't something else. It causes, skin ulcers. This is THETHANLOMINE, whatever that word is. Causes skin ulcers, and you're spraying this on your skin if you get burned. And it's in other products too, so you'll see in a second. Young Living has an after sun spray that works amazing. Okay, let's move forward. We used to use this. This was actually my boys'. Do you know we used to always do that powder puff thing when you squeeze it? That's so damaging. It actually says right on the label, do not inhale, causes breathing problems. And of course, talc has been linked to lung cancer and other cancers. If you use talc in the vaginal area, it's a cause for uterine cancers. It can be other cancers for other people in other areas. And so this is like crazy that talc, and we're talking about talcs in a lot of stuff, even food, even Tums, you know, all that kind of stuff. And we've been, I mean, this was one of my Tums containers. I ate this like it was candy back in the day, having no clue what it does. Excuse me. Diaper ointments that are just a regular diaper ointment has synthetic estrogen in it. Does your baby need synthetic estrogen and talc and synthetic? There's 3 synthetic estrogens in this diaper rash cream. That's crazy. Young Living has a great diaper rash cream with no chemicals and nothing that would harm you or your baby if you ever use that product. I used to have acid reflux all the time, so I would take alkaline. That's something through Young Living. But if you have acid reflux really bad, put 1/4 of a teaspoon of baking soda in some water and drink it. Like this much water, that much, and drink it. Unless you have severe kidney disease, then don't do that. But that would be a much better choice than ever taking any antacids or taking Tums, okay, including Tums. This was antacid, another one. This had, you know, artificial crap in it, which is a neurotoxin. This was a stool softener. It causes people to be weak, tired, and breathing problems. How's a stool softener do that? It has mineral oil in it. It has all the different color dyes, polyethylene glycol, propylene glycol, titanium dioxide, metal in it again. The titanium dioxide just really irritates me. This is something that people often use as some kind of KY jelly. And so this has a chemical called nitrosol, and it causes pelvic pain for people to be tired, slow heart rate, harm to unborn babies per the Mayo Clinic. So if you're pregnant and using KY jelly on a regular basis for obvious reasons, it causes harm to unborn babies. Okay, so if it's going to do that while it's growing in you, obviously it's going to cause harm to your vaginal canal, causes dryness that may lubricate for a second, but it causes dryness long term. And so this also has 2 synthetic estrogens, and then it also has propylene glycol in it, and benzoic acid, which is not good for the vaginal canal either. So, I mean, use coconut oil. You know, get organic unrefined coconut oil, or even get it refined. That's a better choice. But make sure there's no other ingredients in it. That would be 100% better choice than ever using something like this. Okay, what's this guy? Eye drops are really annoying. This eye drop right here, let's see here. This is one of the chemicals in here is in the group 1 carcinogens, which means it's been proven to show cancer. It's been proven to, it's on the cancer list. And there's different groups, and it's group 1. And that's EDETATE disodium, okay? Also causes kidney disease and calcium deficiencies. And plus all the petroleum products that are in it, okay? So once again, it helps lubricate your eye, making it feel better for a second, but then it's going to dry it out, plus it has all these other side effects. This is polyethylene glycol, or 3350. So whenever you're going to have a colonoscopy, they're going to have you drink this, take that pill, the powder, however they're going to have you do it these days. But this is a problem because this is polyethylene glycol. This is like you're taking spoons full of Vaseline. It's in the same family, okay? You could do a natural cleanse. And actually back in the day, doctors used to ask people to fast beforehand, but people wouldn't fast. And so then the doctor couldn't see what they needed to see in the colon. And then the people are traumatized by having something stuck up their butt, right? So now they make it where you're guaranteed to get everything out by a chemical. It's really a big problem that you don't want to do something natural if you can, because it's a better choice, okay?
Hey, Stacy. There's a question. What's a better alternative to eye drops, or for someone who has dry eye or irritated eyes on a regular basis?
Dry eyes, you could just use something simple. It works for some people, not all people, but like olive oil. Whenever you get olive oil, you only want first cold press. Okay, all the other ones don't matter. they all are diluted with other things, whether it's on the label or not. So at night, you just can put a drop or put it in the corner of your eye and blink your eyes. That helps a lot of people. There's an apple cider vinegar recipe that you could use. And then a lot of times it's going to be a deficiency. So it could be you don't have enough vitamin E in your body and enough sulfur. So I would tell someone, that happened to a friend of mine, I had him take sulfurzine, right? So there's different things, but I can get back to you more, but that's just two things real quick. Okay. This is outrageous. If you get a prescription for vitamin D, or this is omegas, don't take it. If it's a prescription, it's not going to be straight, because that means the FDA approved it, right? And these companies do not care. So there's no reason on this planet why for a good omega-3s that anyone cannot take it. And this says if you've had a stroke, if you're pregnant, then you should not be taking this. And this doesn't have any more in here now, but this is like a prison on the capsule. It had like 62952. It's like a little prison capsule of bad fats that they're giving to you. And there's much better choices out there, okay? I use Omega Gize or Olive Essence. Those are capsules that are great. When I was in Europe, do you know that people over there consume a liter of olive oil per person per month? Good fats are so important for your brain, your health, your joints, everything. You have to have enough good fats, and that ain't gonna do it. So if it's a prescription vitamin, please don't take it. Vitamin D, the same thing, it's not worth it. This is the same thing. Aspirin cream lotion, I mean, I used to use this stuff, and I used to love me some BioFreeze. I used to use this until I found about BioFreeze. BioFreeze was the bomb, but it's not the bomb no more. So this is synthetic estrogen, propylene glycol, synthetic estrogen, sodium lauryl sulfate. We talked about that a little bit last time. So sodium lauryl sulfate was supposedly created by Hitler's men to help dumb down the masses. It's actually banned in the UK, but yet we sell it all over here in the US. It's in mouthwash and toothpaste and hair and skin and lotion, and even in some foods and vitamins, which is literally outrageous. And that's one of the chemicals that Steve was really allergic to, and we found out over here, and I'll tell you about that in a second. BioFreeze has issues as well, but this also has the chemical in it that causes shallow ulcers underneath the skin, just like this one. And of course it has the dyes in it, and it has synthetic estrogen in it. No one is short of synthetic estrogen. Remembering that only 5 to 10% of all cancer for all ages, races, and genders, prostate, lung, breast, whatever, only 5 to 10% of all cancers is genetic, per the American Cancer Society. So that's up to 95% of all cancers are because of what we're doing, knowingly or unknowingly, by our environment, our stressors, or what we're consuming, whether it's topical or internally or breathing in. We have the opportunity to prayerfully be as chemical free as possible by avoiding these things, okay? Okay, so that's bad. I love this pain cream. I love Deep Relief. I use that a lot, but whatever. Okay, so let's go here real quick. Benadryl. Steve used to take this all the time. My grandma used to take this all the time. Had no idea. Do you know that Benadryl, you cannot mix Benadryl in blood pressure medicines? How many people just don't know that? I hope there's people here that if you're on these things, like, do not mix this. It's a really bad side effect. Just go Google it yourself for Benadryl and blood pressure medicines. But this was one of ours as well. This creates, what are the chemicals in here? The carbamethylcellulose creates a situation where the body doesn't produce enough enzymes. That's a problem because enzymes are so important. It's like one of the main things in your body. Of course, it has artificial sweetener, and just remember when they're making up one flavor, a taste or a scent to make you draw that these things taste good, especially for kids stuff, right? One flavor or scent, they're allowed to use up to 5,000 chemicals to make that up. Okay, it's no cherries really in there, okay? It's just a chemical, outrageous scent that makes someone want to take it. And this capsule of Benadryl has, of course, the red dyes, aluminum lake, which is really irritating because that's aluminum, like aluminum foil, ground up metal in your products. If you're going to buy any baked goods, please go read the label from a store. You're going to find aluminum in it. You should not be overdosing your body on aluminum, especially if someone has like Alzheimer's, dementia, autism, ADHD. For those folks, it'd be even more detrimental to be adding metals to your body. Polyethylene glycol, titanium dioxide, another metal. I think I said dye. And then the one chemical, it's CROSPOVIDONE, is formaldehyde based. So there's formaldehyde in here as well, component. Do we need formaldehyde, which is embalming fluid? The answer is no. So let's keep moving. So Centrum vitamins, that's just a joke. And I know you probably can't see it, but from here to here, this is all the inactive ingredients. That means all the chemical fillers. I mean, the pill's only like this size. So it's just outrageous. But one of the things besides, there's literally 4 aluminums in here and titanium dioxide, plus just a whole bunch of other crap. So it's not worth it. These were our Flintstone vitamins. I used to love these suckers myself, but of course I gave them to my kids. Artificial colors, artificial flavors, all the dyes. My kids had serious problems with red dyes. Red dyes are like a big no-no, and of course they put it in kids' stuff, which is just outrageous. And if your kid's acting wild and crazy and like a little nut, I'm telling you, look at the sugars, look at the red dyes. Both of my kids were labeled with ADHD, learning disabled, and speech impairments, severe speech impairments, and then one of them had occupational issues. And I'm telling you, this is all the crap I was given to them when you see the other classes. When we changed that, things changed. I'm telling you, it's what we're doing. So you gotta be aware of that. This has aluminum in it a couple times, artificial sweetener, which is a neurotoxin, carrageenan, which causes severe like stomach problems for some people, and IBS, folic acid, which most people should not be having folic acid. It should be methylated folate. Folic acid is synthetic. And if you have something called MTHFR, which they said 80% of people do, but if you don't know, you haven't get tested. I know my son does, I do. Of course, all prenatal vitamins are straight, like a whole bunch of folic acid is very damaging to mom and baby. If that's the case, of course, I didn't know that back then. And of course, I overdosed on that. But we do not take any folic acid. It's not good for you. Folate is good for you, not folic acid. And so this chemical right here, butylated hydroxytoluene, is banned in Australia, Canada, New Zealand, Japan, and it causes cancer. And that's in Flintstone vitamins, or at least it was. Maybe it's not anymore, but that's a problem. Now this is one of my favorite ones. This was one that my husband was taking. Someone was staying with us. We stopped taking it because I gave him a cabinet to store their stuff in. And then I had Steve all cleaned out, no allergies. He used to get these giant welts where it would be like raised like this high. I'm not even joking. Red as could be, hot to touch. You could literally fry an egg on this. In 2 seconds, it would move here, and then it'd move over here, then move over here, and on his head, and his lips would swell up, and his ear would swell up, and this stuff was just weird. Like, I don't know how it can move through the body like this. Like, literally is like watching aliens. Anyhow, and he would just itch outside internally, which is why we were taking all these products, or he was. And so he started taking this again, and I believe heavily in prayer that asked the Lord for discernment to know what's right and wrong, what's good and what's bad, and that there's something you need to know. So he started itching again. I'm like, honey, I don't even know how to help you. Like, I thought we had everything straight. Of course, I never thought it would be in a vitamin. And so this is that one chemical. It's called SLS, or sodium lauryl sulfate. And once again, he started itching from like the inside out. And one day he was going to take this, and I said, let me see that. And I read it. I'm like, there's our answer. Sodium lauryl sulfate. Do you know that's almost in every dermatological doctor's office for skin conditions that they give you? All the creams, because he had dermatitis, he had psoriasis, it was in his scalp, it was on his skin. The dude was just jacked up. Every cream they gave him, prescription or not, had propylene glycol, had formaldehyde, still does, just so you know, and sodium lauryl sulfate, which is outrageous. And so once again, those things are a mouthwash, toothpaste, hair. So that's what we didn't realize. He was brushing with it. He was washing his hair with it. He was putting conditioner. He was using lotion. He was taking vitamins, the topical stuff if you get a sunburn. Just no clue. And so this is where people are, their whole life, they're traumatized with this stuff. And I'm promising you, it's a gut and a liver issue that needs to be cleaned out, but you can get that to go away by not using these things. I promise you. This is a prenatal vitamin that's just a joke. It's a sucker. And it has artificial sweetener, extra glucose like mama needs it, artificial flavoring, and a whole bunch of dyes. Why? This vitamin that looks odd anyhow has titanium dioxide, propylene glycol, caramel fake coloring as a vitamin. I had someone who was just taking magnesium, and they got 2 for 1 at Walmart, and they were all excited about it. It had titanium dioxide, propylene glycol, and the main ingredient was soy in it. We don't need to be taking any soy. That's another synthetic estrogen, and it's definitely GMO soy, which is a big no-no. If you had organic soy, that would be a different thing, even though we don't need to overdose on soy, because soy is still going to break down to a synthetic estrogen in your body. So, anyhow, crazy. Am I almost done? I'm not. This is my old chlorophyll I used to take, and when I started, I used to love taking this. But I found out the main inactive ingredient is synthetic estrogen. I'm just like, dear God, this is outrageous. And then these cortisone creams, you know, we need to look at and be aware of what's going on. This has mineral oil. It has synthetic estrogen, another synthetic estrogen, sodium lauryl sulfate. You know, so if you're going to buy this, look at all of them that are available on the shelf. And if you're going to use store-bought products, okay? I'm not suggesting to use this, but if you're going to use a store-bought product, find the one that has the least chemicals available or the least amount of products. Just like if you're going to go buy ice cream, like Breyers, if you're not eating organic or whatever, there's one called Breyers, right? There's one that has 20 ingredients. There's some ice creams that have 50 ingredients, and it's just not even straight at all. And some of Breyers have like 4 or 5 ingredients. It says milk, cream, sugar, you know, vanilla, right? Or chocolate. That's a better choice. So everything I always teach about is about making a better choice with what you have available to you so that you and your family can be healthier and happier. I'll end with this because this is the one that makes me the most maddest. And this is, this was ours. I had boys, so they were always just in shorts. I lubed them all up. Austin was really allergic to mosquito bites. He used to get like these giant welts, like that high. I mean, the kid it was awful. And we used to live in California, so we didn't have mosquitoes out there because it's too dry, I guess, or whatever. But anyhow, so I started using it on this, never read the label, and plus it's so small, anyhow. And then when I started learning about chemicals, it says hazardous to humans on this label, right? So I'm just like, well, how the heck are you supposed to use this? So when I called Mr. Off to say, how do I use this? They told me I was supposed to spray it on clothing, but if I do, to wash the clothing immediately after we're done, and or to spray the mosquito before it got to my child. First of all, if my child's running around, do you think I want to? I'm trying to take a break. But there's no way in this world you can spray a mosquito before it gets to somebody, okay? And to think about, even though they've got a family right here and how damaging this is to you, the government allows it to be sold. You have to think about this. Like, seriously, this is so bad for you. It's not even funny. And this is another one. I just thought it says hazardous to humans. And besides what the ingredients are, which we shouldn't be using some of these products with DDT and all these chemicals, there's things you can do. Do you know a mosquito can smell you 150 feet away if you have really acidic blood? So before we go camping, or if I am camping or out in the wilderness, I'll take something called alkaline, or you could do fresh squeezed lemon water, or you could do baking soda and water, because you won't have acidic blood and the mosquitoes won't even want you. And then I use other things. We actually have an over-the-counter that I'm allowed to tell you, but we have a Young Living has an insect repellent that is amazing. It smells good. I've actually been using it as like a oil lotion because I love the way it smells. But there's things you can do that's 100% better choice than this crap, and it won't cause cancer or poison your body, because remember, when you put this on your skin, it absorbs into your bloodstream. Like, it's just so important to realize that. So your skin is your largest organ externally, your largest organ internally is your liver, and your liver is your toxin filter, okay? Just a little class there. So all these things are awful, in my opinion. We've been blessed not to have to use any of these for, since 14 years ago, since August of 2007. And that's for a family of 4. And I know that you guys can do it as well. And that's the hope that I want to give you today, is that you can make a better choice to help yourself out. And actually, I forgot one thing.
You can go ahead, and I have a question.
Sure, what's the question?
So there's actually 2, but the first one is there something for fluid retention?
Why, yes, there is. Fluid retention, first of all, when you can, lay on the floor, or if you're sitting, keep your feet at least, this level. Put your feet elevated. I'm assuming you're talking about the legs. That will help in between. So if you sit at a desk, at some point you gotta go put your feet up for a little bit, because just sitting all day, our bodies are not meant to be sedentary and just sit in a chair and work. Okay, we're supposed to be working the fields and the farm and moving, chopping down trees, hunting, whatever, right? So we have to get more movement in our body. I know that white salt, a chemical salt, like in even Himalayan, I don't have the Redmond out here. If your salt is Himalayan and it has white chunks in there, it's not the right kind. Himalayan salt should be like a dark rosy color, okay? And we used to be able to buy salt in the dark rosy color, and the whiter it got was the junkier it got. The less properties. This has up to like 82 minerals in it if you have the right kind. White salt is impossible. Salt is gray. It's well, not all salt, but a lot of salt is like a gray color. You have to realize you can watch videos on like how you make canola oil, how do you make salt. They strip the nutrients from the salt and make it crystal white, which is just not true. So if you see sea salt and it's white, or table salt, you should never eat Morton salt. That's like the worst thing on the planet. So now you may be consuming salt, or you may be consuming no salt, okay? And because we think, okay, salt is creating this edema, but really it's the lack of good sodium in your body that can create edema. Not that that's the only reason all the time and whatever. So if someone asked me this and I knew that they don't do any salt at all, or they do white salt, then I would have them do at least a quarter teaspoon of salt in water. You can let it dissolve 3 times a day and salt your food. And the edema, especially if it's like in your legs, will start to come off because your body's holding on to everything. So you're trying to hold on to this fluid because it doesn't know when it's going to get some more nutrients. Sodium is a necessary nutrient that your body needs. I think the value on your blood work is like 132 to 145. If you're right at 132, you need to raise it up, because also the sodium is what helps your nerves fire in the signals in your body, tell you to walk, talk, think, remember, pee, whatever the case is. So you need good sodium. So that's Redmond's real salt or Celtic sea salt are the only 2 main salts that you can get around, or at Amazon or whatever, that are the best salts that you could take that would help your body dramatically. There's other things, but I cannot tell you on here.
Okay, the second question is more medical as well, and so it's any advice for taking blood thinner due to an artificial heart valve?
Well, if you have an artificial heart valve, you need to make sure you maintain that. Sometimes there's better choice. Like Coumadin is not the best choice, blood thinner. but there may be better choice blood thinners out there. So you have to go do a Google search for blood thinners, prescription ones, excuse me, and then look at the side effects and see which one's a better choice for you so that you don't have other issues from that medication. I know that there's things you can, I know there's things that my dad has done for that, but I'm not able to disclose that here. So obviously if it's something life-threatening like that, then you need to maintain yourself, but then fix the other things around you so that if you only have, let's say, one poison in your life that you got to take to help maintain your body, which you should do, right? Then you can build up your body in other ways around you. So you still can do great nutrients when you're on that, like Ninja is a liquid antioxidant. It's our liquid vitamin. We use it all the time. So you just want to build up your body around that so your body is not just taking in this chemical that you need, but damaging the rest of your body. It still can help reproduce healthy cells. And of course, when you're on blood thinner, there's certain nutrients that you should not be taking. Ninja Red would be fine with that, just so you know. With your greens and that kind of stuff. Okay, ready? Okay. Okay, this was one of the ones that was really a trip. This was back in 2007, so this is like right when I was starting off and learning. I learned about health and nutrition and chemical awareness and natural medicine all in one day from camping, and I was totally shocked, all of that. And once again, I worked in the medical field for 14 years, so I'm like, I just thought anything natural was total BS. My husband was always trying to tell me, well, do this or do that or whatever. I was like, blah, you don't know. You don't work in the medical field. You don't know anything. Found out he was right. I had to apologize, all that kind of stuff. But this is the thing that really makes me upset is because, these were my kids' stuff. Okay, I still have these containers. I got the bottles over there. And melt-away tablets, you know how you piggyback every 4 hours with Motrin and Tylenol and all of that. Well, it came out, it was huge on the news. Doctors applaud infant and cold medicine not to be taking it because really they never tested these medicines for infants and children. They just did the adult dose and then weaned it down for a baby's weight, okay? And so that is the problem. So what was happening, let me go find my section here. At least the last 25 to 35 years, it's been shown to be inaccurate and occasionally dangerous for infants to be taking children's cough and flu medicines. And so, let's see, CDC stated that 1,500 children under the age of 2 have been taken to the emergency for serious health problems from taking Tylenol, cold and cough. That was for their ages as well, just so you know. It wasn't like they gave someone an adult dose. They pose risk of life-threatening adverse effects for children, including hallucinations, seizures, potentially heart or fatal heart problems. And so they took it off the market. I remember parents were all freaked out at this time. My kids were older, so even though I had these products still. But I think it was like anyone under 6 months or 2 years old was no longer allowed to take this, and they took it off the shelf. And so parents were like freaking out. Of course, there's many things that you can use naturally for that. Austin had a fever of 104.9, and I was able to give him peppermint, and it brought it down to 99 in 20 minutes. Young Living peppermint. There's different peppermints, right? So I only use Young Living because they are the best, and you can use them internally, externally, breathe in, all that. So that's happened over the years. We've been using this stuff for 14 years. Of course, a family is going to have fevers throughout 14 years. We have always used peppermint, and it's worked for us. Thank you, Jesus. And if you're biblical based, you got to realize, read your whole Bible if you don't know about this already. But God spoke these plants into existence, and there's essential oils all throughout the Bible that were used with Jesus and others, and even before the Bible. Essential oils are not something new. It's not alternative medicine. This is the original medicines. Alternative, God did not create pharmaceuticals. And I understand that there's a time and a place for them. And I'm thankful for our emergency medical system because we have the best emergency medical system there is. What us Americans stink at in our medical community, in my opinion, is preventative medicine in the sense of, learning how to change your lifestyle, your diet. You shouldn't just take the blue pill for gout so you can eat whatever you want to eat because it's still causing inflammation in your body. So as adults, we need to be responsible and make better choices. We can do it, but generally speaking, we don't want to. Whenever I go speak to a church, which you think would be the best place ever to speak on natural medicine, you know what? I get the biggest flack back from people. I don't want to change my diet. You can pray over whatever you're doing, the Lord will bless it. I said, no, Jesus said you could pray over food. He didn't say over chemicals. You cannot ask the Lord to bless this chemical and turn it into something healthy and help build your immune system. That's foolish, in my opinion. But hey, we're not even talking about food right now. I'm on a rant. I'll stop. That's for another class. I just got to look. So I will stop. I don't even know how long this has gone. I was trying to stick at 15 minutes. It's probably like 17 right now. I don't know.
40.
40? I'm so sorry. But hopefully you can share this out and help people. Just, if you have, I always call it pull your family, your friend, or your brother, or your sister card. If you find this information is valuable in some way, shape, or form, or at least get someone to go research it for themselves, then please share this out so they can have the opportunity to see that perhaps there's a better choice. And once again, whether that's Young Living or just using salt water for a sinus congestion, I don't care. But there's a better choice out there, right? So hopefully this can bless you and your family and your friends. And thank you so much. Look forward to the future classes for the Cleaning Out the Garage series. I got 8 to 9 bins I'm doing. And then next week I'm going to be teaching, I'm not sure if people will recognize or not, but I've lost about 8 inches of my hair. And since I had COVID, I've lost over, how do I say this?
Half your head.
Over half of the amount of the hair that I had prior. So I have pictures, I got all my hair bundled up, all this, I'm going to show you how I'm getting it back. And I have all the new growth and you can see all that kind of stuff. So that will be next week. So if you know someone who has hair loss, they're going to want to tune in next week for the hair growth class. Okay, thank you so much. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye.